Hello, friends. Welcome back to Living with Spinal Stenosis podcast. I'm so glad you're here. And like you, I'm living with lumbar spinal stenosis, the kind that affects the lower back and legs. I'm not a doctor, and nothing I share is medical advice. But this podcast is where I share my journey, my research, and what I've learned along the way to hopefully support and encourage others walking the same path. If you've been following the series so far, we've talked about how lumbar spinal stenosis can cause pain when walking and even when simply standing still. But today, we're going to talk about something a little less obvious, but just as frustrating. Sometimes you finally sit down expecting relief, only to be greeted with more pain, stiffness, or even numbness. So let's unpack that today. Why sitting too long can make things worse, what we can do to help ourselves, and how we can shift our mindset to live with more ease and more hope. Now, if you're new to spinal stenosis, it might sound confusing. Wait, walking hurts? Standing hurts? Now, sitting hurts too? Yes, and you're not imagining it. Here's what's going on. Sitting often brings temporary relief for people with lumbar spinal stenosis because it flexes the spine slightly forward. That opens up the spinal canal a bit and reduces pressure on the nerves. That's why leaning on a cart or sitting down feels better than standing tall. But if you sit for too long, especially with poor posture or on an unsupportive chair, your muscles and joints start to stiffen up. Blood flow slows down. Your hip flexors get tight. Your core relaxes too much, and your lower back, which is already under pressure, can get sore from being rounded or compressed. Also, prolonged sitting puts pressure on the sciatic nerve and surrounding tissues. For some of us, this leads to a pins and needles feeling or that weird sensation where your legs feel heavy, tingling, or like they're falling asleep. In other words, sitting helps at first, but sitting for too long can start to work against you. Let's talk about strategies that can really help. Well, the golden rule is don't stay in one position too long. Try setting a timer every 20 to 30 minutes. Even a gentle stretch, a quick walk to the kitchen, or shifting in your chair can reduce stiffness and nerve compression. You don't have to be in constant motion, just regular motion. That's the first tip. Switch positions often. Now, if you sit in soft couches or saggy chairs often, your spine may not get the support it needs. Try a firm chair with good lumbar support and add a cushion behind your lower back or use a wedge cushion to tilt your pelvis slightly forward and keep your spine in alignment. Sometimes just changing the angle of your hips and spine can provide relief. That's tip number 2. Use supportive seating. Now, when sitting, try to keep your feet flat on the ground. Avoid crossing your legs. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Sit tall but not stiff. Think of your spine as being gently lifted, like someone is pulling a string from the top of your head. light, not rigid. That's tip number 3. Mind your posture. Simple stretches like seated knee chest, seated spinal twists, or gentle hip openers can release pressure and increase blood flow, and they may be recommended by physical therapy. But I found even those small movements can increase your pain. So be gentle and slow and listen to your body. Don't push through the pain. Just move in a way that feels supportive. That's tip number 4. Try gentle seated stretches. This one's not often talked about, but water and anti-inflammatory foods can be a big difference in managing nerve irritation. Hydrated tissues are more flexible and better at healing. Remember, hydration is about more than just drinking water. It also includes getting the required electrolytes. I found this to be very helpful. Also, I like to reduce my sugar intake because sugar increases inflammation. But let's stay on point. Tip number 5 is stay hydrated and nourished. Now, let's talk about the emotional side of this. It can be discouraging, right? Yes, it can. You sit because walking hurts, but then sitting hurts too. It can feel like you're stuck between two uncomfortable choices, and that can lead to frustration, sadness, or even a bit of fear about the future. Yes, I've been there. But here's the gem I want you to carry with you today. You don't have to live at either extreme. You can live in the middle. Life with spinal stenosis is all about flow and flexibility, physically and mentally. It's not about avoiding movement or pushing through the pain. It's about listening to your body, honoring what it needs in the moment, and adapting without judgment. You are learning to move through the world in a more intentional, body aware way. And that's a skill most people never develop. You're not weak, you're wise. You are creating new rhythms that honor your reality and protect your peace. Every small action you take, adjusting your seat, standing up when you need to, stretching your legs, is an act of care, and that care adds up. You are not at war with your body. You're learning to be in partnership with it. And that partnership takes time. It takes passion. It takes patience and compassion. So the next time you feel that familiar discomfort from sitting too long, know this: you're not broken, you're learning. And every moment is a chance to listen a little more closely, adjust a little more gently, and keep moving forward with grace. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. That's where healing lies. Thanks for joining me today on the Living with Spinal Stenosis podcast. Take it from Miss No More Back Pain. If this episode brought you clarity, relief, or just a moment of connection, I'd love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share it with someone who needs it, or leave a review. Let's keep building this community, one honest conversation at a time. Until next time, take care of your spine, be gentle with yourself, and keep moving forward, one step at a time.